it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. This is my second video of the day, so thank you for joining me. This is part of the video collaboration group that I've been a member of. This is actually going to be my last video with them, certainly for a while I sort out other things that are going on in my life, but I wish them well. We have a theme of masculine for today. If you don't know me, just so I remember to say this, I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the UK, so if you need any products, you will find a link to my online store below and my website, which will have more details of the project I am making. I'm going to be using the Sailing Home stamp set and one of the dies from the coordinating die pack, which is Smooth Sailing. This is carrying over to the new annual catalogue, but the bundle isn't, so the items are, but you won't be able to get them 10% off. If you want to get the saving, you need to order them pretty much by the end of the month. There's a couple of days at the beginning of June, but basically think the end of May. Now, this is one of those projects which is slightly scary because I have planned it but not made it in advance, i.e. I haven't worked out if it completely works, but I am using some of the Memories and More pack. If you watched the video I did yesterday for the spot challenge, I used one of the die cuts, the laser cuts rather, as a mask to spray over. So this is one of the cards I made. Actually, this isn't the better of the two for the... So I used this over this element and sprayed. So I thought I would make a card with this. It's beginning to look a little more frail than it was, so the sooner I make it into a card, the better, really. So I've grabbed one of the large Memories and More cards. You get these in an assortment. Sorry, I should say note cards. You get them in an assortment, so you get large and small with matching envelopes. This is one of the ones that takes a 6x4 card. So if I lay this down, you can see that there's a little margin around the edge, but basically this fits onto the front of the card. So this is the basis for my card today. I've cut a piece of the Sia Silhouette Designer Series paper, which is retiring, and this is 6x4, and my plan is I'm going to attach that over it because it's a nice deep but not too flat, so it's not a solid colour, but it's a nice deep colour. And then, because I enjoy fussy cutting, I have fussy cut this boat out of this Memories and More card, and I have even gone into some of the rigging. I did draw the line at going into this piece here because that is terribly, terribly thin. So yeah, and I just used my my snips, nothing special, just my snips, and just did it very carefully. But yeah, you can see I've even gone in, hopefully you can see, I've even gone into the bits in amongst the sails and above the hull, so that it's as near cutaway as possible. As I say, this was just a step too far, but this was the card that it came from. So there's some stamping, so I'm going to start by sticking this onto here, then I'll do the stamping and then we'll put it all together. I'm also going to be bringing in the what do we call this, metallic ribbon in Seaside Spray, because it goes quite nicely over this. So I thought I would add that. This was actually, the spray that I used was a mix of Night of Navy Re-Inker, alcohol, and the Frost White shimmer paint. As I say, if you look at the video that I did for the spot challenge yesterday, it will have all the details for that. So the first thing I've got to do, obviously, is to get this stuck down, which, bearing in mind it is already a little broken, is going to be an interesting challenge. I've got a silicone mat here, and I have in my little box of tricks, that's a metaphoric box, a piece of stamping sponge, whoops, that flies, and I've just got it in a little just a little plastic container. And I'm going to use that to help me get glue into some of the smaller areas. So actually I probably need a little bit more than that. Glue onto my silicone mat, then sponge into the glue. And the bits that I really want to concentrate on are the bits in the middle, because those are going to be nigh on impossible to get glue into. So I'm going to go there first, and then I can come round the outside. Might need a bit more glue. This is one of those things where almost the older your sponge is, the better, because it stops absorbing the glue and just you can then just use it as a way of getting it from A to B. So I'm just going to turn that over so I can do the long edge first, or long edges I should say first, and then the short edges, and turn that over. And to clean your silicone mats, just wait until it's dry, the glue's dry, and it will then just peel off. It's almost like peeling wax off your fingers. I don't know whether you did that as a child, but I used to like getting candle wax on my fingers and then peeling it off. Sad, I know, but there we go. Right, and this just goes onto my piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to concentrate on the edges, because if I concentrate on the edges, the middle will kind of take care of itself. Turn it over and press, and then we can turn it back, and it's basically stuck down. Even the bit that was torn away has, which is just here, has kind of gone back into the right place, so that's all good. I might see if I can just hide the bit that is torn. So I just found a loose bit there. I think that's probably some of my fussy cutting, but yeah, come on. It's going to annoy me because it's white on my dark background. There we go. Right, okay, so stamping, while that's settling, we'll, in fact, what I might do is stick it onto the card and then put it under a block, because it is, I don't know if you can see, it is still quite curly. So more adhesive, and just going to kind of scribble over the back. I wouldn't normally put this amount of liquid adhesive onto a piece of designer series paper, or indeed a piece of card, but because it's curling, I want to use a bit more glue so that we can get it sticking in place. I haven't actually decided whether I'm going to have this as a landscape or a portrait card yet. Oh, and I should probably have stuck my ribbon on already, but hey-ho. Right, so I'm going to pop this to one side, and one of the things I use my F block for most, probably, is this, because it's very good at keeping things nice and flat. So we'll pop that to one side and do our stamping. So I'm just going to use Night of Navy and Let Hope Be Your Anchor through the storms of life, which at the moment I think is not a bad sentiment. So just ink that up, and going to stamp it in the middle. This is a scrap and it's got adhesive on, so I want to make sure that I keep away from the adhesive. So that is that, all nicely stamped. And then I'm going to use this frame to die cut it. So I'll just pop away and do that, which, bear with me one moment while I sort that out. And then I will be back to finish the card. Oops. I think I need to treat myself to some more cutting plates. I do have some cutting plates in store, so ooh, stuck that on there. But I don't think they owe me very much, really. We know we're getting a new die and emboss machine. We haven't got a date yet, so still want to keep my bits going. Right, so we've got that and that. Oh, I know how I can use the ribbon. Right, so I have a choice. Well, I don't actually really, because I don't think that's going to look right, is it? Portrait. Just need to get a little bit of adhesive underneath a couple of the edge bits here. So I'm just going to add the smallest amount of adhesive that I can possibly get just under there and there. Didn't get quite enough on with my sponge. I was spending too much time yakking, I think. So that's better. This side I think was all right. It was just that side was a little less than perfect. And whilst I can do with a little less than perfect, it was just that bit too far. Right, so this I'm going to pop up, and it's because it's a white background to this, that will actually work quite nicely. So let me grab, I'm down to the edge pieces mostly of my minis. So what have I got in my, not that you can't use your edge pieces, you can, but I just want to see if I can get decent sized bits in. Right, this is where sticky scissors, actually that bit there will do quite nicely behind the hull. It's almost perfect with that little raised bit, and then we can, I'll come from this end, just chop some little bits, probably all I need actually. So piece there, and then a teeny weeny piece. That's a teeny weeny piece. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Teeny, whoops, no, don't stick. Teeny weeny piece there, and then I need another teeny weeny piece. That's a half, which will do quite nicely. Pop that just there, and ooh, that's does help, of course, if you have one side without the backing on. Note to self. There we go. Okay, so let's get that down before we do anything else. Do be careful while you're peeling the backs off anything that is this delicate, that you don't rip the cardboard, because that would be sad, because it's not that quick to fussy cut these tiny pieces, which is kind of why I didn't do it on camera. So we'll have that just there, and then this I'm going to have with some of the ribbon behind it, I think. Let's see what that looks like. So if we zigzag the ribbon a wee bit, yeah, I think that works, and it mirrors the metallic feel of the spray that I used. So snail, which is exactly in front of me. Let's get some snail on that. I am going to pop this up on dimensionals, but I want to get the ribbon on first. So I want it coming from the loop at the edge is kind of what I mean. So I want that there. And that, and then back again. Let's see what that looks like. Yep, that will work. That will work. So let's... No, I think we'll go that way. So if we go that way, then we need to go that way, this way. There we go. Get the end away. Might make that a little bit longer, that side. I used to be indecisive. Now I just fiddle. Okay, dimensionals. So because this is flat, we can actually stick dimensionals over the ribbon without it causing an uneven finish. I do like to try and get some of the dimensional onto the card, so I'm not just sticking to the ribbon. And again, I'm using more than I would normally, purely so that I help stick the ribbon down. That should do. So let's pull that up. So the forecast for us this week is that when you watch this, we should actually be back in one of those weird summer spells again. It's supposed to be up into the 23, sort of 24, 70 degrees if you're in Fahrenheit. And then next week it's back down to 11 or 12. So there's that. Now I want something more. So let me grab my... I think I want... Ooh, I could use some of the holiday rhinestones, couldn't I? Because we've got the... I don't know if this is Night of Navy or... I think it might be Night of Navy, but whatever. It's dark. These are carrying over, so always useful to know. I think I have one there. One... there, and then a larger one up there. Yes, I think that will do. And then obviously you can put whatever greasing you want to put inside. Let me just fold that over, and from the back burnish it well, and there we go. So this has had a double life, because it was used for a mask, and now it is in its own right. So this was a slightly patterned side before it started its life. So this was the patterned side rather than the white side. But even so, isn't that just... Can you see all that shimmer? Does it pick up on the camera? I hope it does. Anyway, so this was yesterday's card. This is today's card. I would put one of the trinkets on, but the only trinket I've got left isn't an anchor, so it would look kind of weird. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Do hop around the other ladies who will be sharing their projects as well. So say it's a masculine theme, which is always a challenge. So do have a look at their projects, and have a look at my website for close-ups and all that good stuff. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Keep well, keep safe, and best of luck to you.